Hello, 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 YouTubers. Welcome to PDINA. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One of the things that is most recent in the news is Omid's confession. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I did write those two names. And also, William is putting his foot down. And he is never, ever, ever going to allow those wackadoos back into the royal family once he becomes king. And we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. So here's what has happened. The audacity. Omid is now admitting he lied, or admitting without saying he lied. I'm sorry. Apparently, he insisted that he had never given a version of this book entitled The King and the Princess of Wales' names were in the manuscript. He insisted that he never gave this to the translators. This was confusing to him. He didn't know why this was happening. He wanted to get to the bottom of it. Well, now it appears that he has admitted that an earlier draft of his book did name the royals alleged to have raised concerns about the color of Archie's skin color. It comes after the Dutch version of his book Endgame was pulled, we know, off of the shelves because of a translation error. And I believe that he was talked to very sternly that he was going to be sued unless he came out and he acknowledged this. And you have to look at how the two people that translated this book, how this affects their livelihood. And that they have now been thrown under a bus for the sake of Meghan and her career. Because when we've initially started talking about all this, this is how sinister and how deep and how just evil this couple is. Meghan more specifically, because we know it originates with her, my opinion. That they will even throw the names out there in a way that would put the jobs in jeopardy and the reputation of these Dutch translators. Everything is off the table when it comes to Meghan and her career. Everything. Because it's by any means necessary. Her vindictiveness, her ability to, want to put things out there for the sake of her own career just shows you what kind of a sinister person she is. And so Omid, I believe, has come out to actually say this now to lessen the likelihood that he will be sued. And he has suggested that an earlier draft of his work, which mentioned the king and princess's names, but it was not by him, and it was without his knowledge. He said that the only publisher that he had worked directly with was the company in charge of the UK and the US versions, and that responsibility for foreign language editions had been outsourced. Okay, so the people that had been outsourced to give the version of this book to the foreign language people, there has to be a connection there, because I can only imagine that the copy that had the names in it was purposely given to those in the Netherlands. And it's so ironic how that is such a smaller company, and the laws around translation errors are so much different. I believe I heard something about that, and it would make sense that the reason why they would give it to the Netherlands is because the likelihood of ramifications is less likely than had it been a translation error in a US UK version or another foreign country. So that has to be looked at a lot deeper. Like, why was it that all the other translated versions got the original copy and the Netherlands did not originally? That is just too suspect. And I hope they find out how that actually happened. Now, the writer also admitted that in the newspaper that was published on Friday that he addressed the backlash about his book. He was confused about the Dutch version and had been trying to piece together what had happened. So he was thinking, okay, let me see how I can figure out how this actually happened and then come out and say, okay, it was me. I'm sorry. So he wrote, unbeknownst to me at the time, early and unclear text was provided to the Dutch publisher in order for them to start work on the translation, with the understanding that their translation would be updated to reflect the final version of the book that I had officially submitted. So this is what Omid has said. He goes on to say that other foreign language publishers, including France and Italy, were also doing the same thing, though their versions perfectly replicated the completed work. He went on to add that what I can be sure of is that I edited carefully, took independent legal advice, and the finished book that I submitted was not the version published in the Netherlands. So this is what he has said. And the man is just a liar. He has outed himself as yet again a liar. And isn't it just so ironic that the first book, Finding Freedom, that Omid wrote had a connection to Meghan and Harry that came out via discovery in the lawsuit that was brought on by the newspapers with Meghan. And now we see another hiccup around the translated version of this book with Omid is going to eventually lead back to Meghan. That is going to happen. I assure you of that. You can quote me here right now as saying that it's going to lead back to Meghan. All roads are going to lead back to Meghan Markle. And this right here, I am so excited to read that the king, the future king of England, Prince of Wales, William, has come out and said something that we were all thinking. So the time clock for Harry and Meghan is ticking, because as long as King Charles is the king, Harry and Meghan may have a little way back into the royal fold. But when King William hit the throne, when he hits the throne, it's over for Harry and Meghan. It is over, because that's what he is saying. He is saying that they will not be allowed back in. This is what I'm reading on today. Prince William is completely adamant that Prince Harry and Meghan, they won't be allowed back into the royal family when he is king. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are glad to hear this. The relationship with William and Harry has come a long way. And the brothers were always very different. They're very different in the way that they look. They're very different in the way that they behave. They've always had this relationship that was like a pull and tug, but they still loved each other very much. And it's really hard for a lot of people to see that it has come down to this. And it really only came down to this when Harry married Meghan. Meghan was the piece of the puzzle that caused these two brothers to split ways. It was because of that woman. Let's just get that straight. She was the reason. Okay. A source has claimed that William has no intention of allowing Harry and Meghan to rejoin the royal family once he takes his father's place as king, and that he is adamant about leaving them out. And I say, you know what, Prince William? You are to be so respected, because I just think I'm glad he is saying it. So that's just going to get everyone ready and prepared to know that these two are not going to be back in the royal family when I'm king. Let me be king. Let's see how things are going to happen for these two. Because William just think about what they have done to his wife. Why would he want them back into the royal family? And Harry should be ashamed of himself, understanding that Catherine was always very kind and inclusive with Harry. He was like the third wheel before he met Meghan, and how they welcomed them to go out and to do social events and to work together. It's just unbelievable that Harry has turned and really essentially been brainwashed by Meghan, because that's what a lot of people, even I believe William, is saying, that they believe that Harry has been brainwashed by Meghan. And she's been able to do this. I've done a video on how she has treated younger men in her high school years and how she plays on their feelings. She's very manipulative. This is a woman that is trying to use the little weaknesses that some men that she has come across to use that weakness to her advantage. But William is not weak. William is very strong, and he gonna kick her to the curb, and I can't wait. So now a source close to the prince says that William doesn't ever want Harry to return to the royal family, and when he becomes king, and he reportedly is very adamant about this. William is completely adamant that the Sussexes shouldn't be welcomed back, while the king thinks it would help to stop the media circus surrounding the family. It appears that Charles and William might not never see eye to eye on that, and I think that's okay, William. It's okay that your father don't see the same way as you do. You just keep marching forward, William, because that's I think the most popular view. They should never be welcomed back. And the only reason why Charles is doing it, I believe, is because he has guilt as a father from the passing of Diana and the trauma that Harry may have faced during the funeral by having to walk behind her casket. And I think he's playing on guilt, why Charles is still allowing a little leeway for Harry and all the horrible things that he has done. But William William ain't got nothing to be guilty about. William is pressing forward that he is just going to be done with this couple when he's in charge. And I can't wait. Although it means the king is no longer going to be with us. I'm sorry, but William has got it figured out. William is already planning for when he does become king, that he doesn't see a future for the Sussexes in the royal family. The feeling is that allowing the Sussexes back into the fold is a bad move. I would say so. Is a bad move, and they should be resigned from the fringes indefinitely. So I think William is just saying it the way it's going to be. So get used to it. Yeah. You can't be trusted. William is going to kick you to the curb as soon as he becomes king. So yeah, Harry and Meghan, you better just start getting used to your life going into a tailspin spiral of no return to royal life. Because as soon as William is the king, your life essentially as royalty is going to be completely over. You're hanging on to it by a thread now, but when William is in the throne, on the throne, you can just kiss it goodbye. Just kiss your royalty goodbye. We're gonna kiss it goodbye. Just bloop, it's gone. Your royal life is over forever. So Prince William shocks a woman to join her charity walk. And it was just so beautiful. It was just so nice. So a video posted on the encounter shows the prince surprising Emma Webb on day 13 of her charity walk to raise awareness for mental health. A video was shared on X platform where William surprised Emma on this charity walk to raise awareness for mental health. She was walking from Wales to London in memory of her daughter, who was 16, who died from suicide in March of 2020. Webb stood pulling a life-size horse dubbed Miles to honor her daughter's passion for horse riding. Prince William walked up in front of her quietly and said, "Boo." Webb jumped in shock, putting her hands in her face as she realized who had joined her. Once everything sank in, she and Prince William, they shared a hug. And it was just so touching. In a personal message shared on X, Prince William said, "What an incredible thing Emma is doing to raise awareness of youth suicide in memory of her daughter, Brody. Very special to be able to join her for a part of her journey this morning." And I just think that's wonderful. And I just wanted to acknowledge the work of William, because the authenticity of this man and his work is very touching to me. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.